We take care of people in Waukesha County who are over the age of 60 or people with disabilities that are 18 to 59. Our agency is a one-stop shop for people to access resources and services to help them maintain safely in their home. We have about 80 staff who work in the ADRC in various capacities. We have 4 people on the phones every day who take calls from individuals needing assistance, from caregivers needing assistance. They take about 150 calls a day.
Good afternoon, this is Kristen with the Aging and Disability Resource Center. How may I help you today?
Whoever calls in gets a live voice.
Okay, sure, I can help you with that.
And the goal is, if anyone in the community needs assistance of any type relating to taking care of someone over the age of 60 or someone with disabilities, it's one phone call to get services and resources.
Our daughter is one of 3 children, and Sarah has autism and a nonverbal learning disability, and she was diagnosed as a young child.
I have Asperger's syndrome. I don't understand things, I don't understand people, and I've always been like that. With my social disabilities and learning disabilities, I've had trouble. I'm high functioning, so people can't tell that I'm having problems, when really I just don't understand what's going on.
As a family, we put the supports in place to just keep her moving along in life to the best of our ability. Sarah has qualified for some benefits and services. That became really important when Sarah turned 26 and was no longer part of our insurance. So I think that's where ADRC came into play. I was struggling with understanding the Medicare system and how that was going to work for Sarah. And I started down the path of calling each of the different organizations, and although they were all very, very helpful, it started to become one pointing to the other one to get the answer. And that's when I spoke with someone that said, boy, you really need to call ADRC. I think they could help you.
As I've gotten older, I'm more accepting of the fact that there's nothing wrong in asking for help, and that this is just who I am, and I'm a little different. That's okay.
By the time I got to Diana at 4 o'clock in the afternoon that October day, I was a bit frustrated. She was very kind, and she was patient with me, and she took down the information, and she said, you know, I'm going to hand this to Julie, because Julie is the one that I think can help you. So in my mind, I'm thinking, here we go. Diana said, Julie will look into this and she'll get back to you. And she did say it can take up to 10 days. So in my head, I was setting my sights on mid-October to maybe get a call back. I was back at my desk the next morning at 7:45 a.m. when the phone rang, and it was Julie.
Yes, I spoke with Diana about your daughter, Sarah, and I have some information for you.
She had the problem clearly understood, and she said it's all taken care of. Literally, it's all taken care of. So here's what has happened, and here's what you need to know. And she said, here's my name, and here's my phone number. And unfortunately, I never had to speak to Julie again. I really would like to have, because I wanted to thank her. It was clear to me that Diana and Julie weren't doing what they did because they got the paycheck at the end of the day. They did what they did because they truly and genuinely want to help people. And you can't put a price tag on that. And that's what ADRC did for our family, but most importantly, Sarah.
Our nutrition program, we have a registered dietitian, and we also have approximately 15 part-time site managers who work out in the community overseeing the various dining centers that we have and home-delivered meal locations. We serve about 45,000 meals at our dining centers and about 125,000 meals to people in their homes who cannot get out for a meal. That's on an annual basis.
We're packing up the meals that we send out for all of our Meals on Wheels clients, and we put out about 180 meals a day. It has gone up immensely. People definitely are finding out about us, and they realize how much they need this service. It's growing. It's exciting. These are all of my wonderful volunteers, and on an average day we usually have about 15. They're the ones that the clients get to see every day. They're the ones that they get to reach out and deliver these hot meals and pack the meals with love. I'm very thankful for them.
I pack meals 5 times a week. I deliver 4 times a week. I think it's important helping out people. People have told me it's their main meal of the day. Others, are always glad to see somebody to talk to because they may not, see anybody else during the day. Good morning, John.
We've been getting Meals on Wheels for about 6 months now. My son was looking for some help, and they sent somebody over, and she came over, explained the whole program for me and all that. And I said, well, yeah, I think this is a very good idea. Where you're sick and tired trying to think of what we're going to have for dinner, who's going to cook it, who's going to clean up, and this makes a big difference. I think it's essential to have programs like this.
I love it. I love helping the senior citizens of our community.
Every time I see the smile on somebody's face that I've delivered to, it makes me feel good. Very rewarding.
In our Adult Protective Service Unit, we have 8 social workers who are all certified social workers, and we have 1 supervisor who oversees them. In this past year, we've seen approximately 25% of our at-risk investigations have been related to financial abuse. So it's a significant concern in our community to keep those individuals safe in the community.
Adult Protective Services is the part of our agency that responds to concerns about abuse, neglect, or financial exploitation of adults at risk. So that's anybody 18 and over that may have a disability that puts them at risk of being abused, or persons over 60, which the law considers elder adults at risk. So we respond and we investigate these concerns and try and link people up with services or use the court system to provide services to protect them. And our objective as a human services entity is to really help people support their ability to stay at home. So those services could include supervision, assistance with bathing, assistance with meal provision, things that can support a person's ability to remain in the community longer.
Our agency also enrolls people in publicly funded benefit programs, and that might be insurance programs, it might be Medicare. So our staff assist with the financial eligibility for those programs. We also determine functional eligibility and then ultimately enroll them in their program of choice.
We've been married 60 years. Marilyn has a disease called PSP. It's a progressive supranuclear palsy. She has lost her balance. She no longer can walk. I'm just trying my best to take care of her.
My sister and I both were feeling that sense of being overwhelmed. We didn't know what was available as far as help. We did some research, we asked questions. That's how we were able to get in contact with Patty at the ADRC, and it's just been unbelievable as my mother's needs have become more and more, and my father's as well. They've really stepped up and put us in contact with the right people.
I connect people to resources. Sometimes it's as simple as giving a phone number. Sometimes it is making a referral to our aging services or to our benefit specialists. And sometimes it's actually going out and meeting with the citizen and helping them apply for Medicaid and a long-term care program.
Patty and the ADRC really helped us move into getting approved for Medicaid, and honestly, I would not have been able to figure that out on my own, and certainly my parents would not have either. And it's just been a great program for them.
I think the people are wonderful. Every one of them has been very good to her, which is very important. I wouldn't know what I would do if it wasn't for these people helping us. They are very important to us.
This has really meant a lot for us. It's just so encouraging to know that there are programs like this available. It's just been wonderful. It gave us a lot of hope.
That's absolutely why we do what we do, so people can live as independently as possible in the location they want to live in. And in this case, for Marilyn and Ron, it's living in their own apartment with people they're familiar with, and they're getting the care and the support they need. And Ron's health has improved, and Marilyn is doing really, really well in their own home.
Whatever she needs, that's what we want. She's the love of my life, and I want everything to be right for her.
We also know that dementia care is very critical. With the growing population comes increased amount of people with dementia. We have one dementia care specialist who's trained and has much experience working with people with dementia.
Dementia care specialist position is essential because we have over 5.5 million Americans with the disease, with Alzheimer's disease or another type of dementia. We also know that that number is growing. There is no treatment, there's no cure, and there's no prevention. As the dementia care specialist, I have multiple pillars of responsibility. One of those is to be out in the community and provide early detection. Another component is my responsibility to make sure that our staff here at the ADRC are trained with being what we call dementia capable. So in our orientation today, we're going to go a little bit more in depth about what dementia is. Another piece is that we train businesses throughout the county on how to be dementia friendly. A large task that we have is growing our communities to be more dementia friendly. We teach them about what are the different things that they should be watching for with their neighbors, their church members, individuals in their communities that do that. And then a vitally important piece is we train our first responders to be dementia capable. Recognizing that there's about 10,000 individuals or more in the county that have a diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease or other type of dementia. We're very fortunate in Waukesha County to have a designated dementia care specialist.
Caregiver support, we really try to reach out and help those individuals. It might be a daughter, it might be a spouse. We'll talk to those caregivers about what do you need? Tell us what you need, and we can then help with a plan. We have many programs that provide caregiver support.
Norm had not been sick a day in his life until he hit about the age of 60. The dementia, he was diagnosed with it through his primary doctor, who began to ask him some questions while I was sitting there, and much to my amazement, the answers weren't exactly accurate. This was the very beginning step of my exploration of seeking out help. And that is where I came upon the Waukesha Department of Aging, and I called.
And she got me that day. Oh, what kind of help are you looking for? So she had wanted to talk about her husband who was having some difficulty at home. And so we scheduled a home visit. We did a functional screen and we got him Medicaid eligible, and then he enrolled into one of our long-term care programs.
Year was an especial blessing because this was all new to us, and we were led into these areas by a very knowledgeable young woman. I can't say enough about it.
Barb was her husband's main caretaker, spending all her time and make sure that he was taken care of. Respite care, it allowed her the opportunity to do some of the things that she needed to do and to give herself a break.
And it is most needed. I didn't realize how important it was until I began it. I go out shopping, errands of one type or another, and the greatest thing is to be able to walk out that door and feel comfortable. You don't realize how you're constantly in the back of your mind, you know, I'm going to have to get back home now, or I wouldn't go as much.
And from what I heard, Norm really also enjoyed the time that he was able to spend with someone else. And for them to be able to enjoy other people, I think that was really good for both of them.
I think there's nothing more important than keeping family members at home as long as you can, and forever if you can do that.
One of the key goals for us is to keep them as independent and in the least restricted environment and keep them with their loved one. That's going to be our goal. We want to keep people together in their home.
Hooking up with the Department of Aging, I realized what I had to do, what we would qualify for, and what my next steps would be. I'm very thankful that at this point in our life, we were here in Waukesha and that everything fell in place, better help than we could have imagined.
Everything we do is to help that person maintain dignity and quality of life. What our staff does is so important, and we have wonderful, dedicated staff. They make us who we are. We are the ADRC, we are your ADRC. We're here to help you, and we're here to help you live a quality life.